What's up, fraternity? Welcome back to Fresh Fuzz. Recently, the mascot world lost one of the best, aka the GOAT of the NBA, a 25-year veteran with the Utah Jazz and a Mascot Hall of Fame inductee, just to name a few of his accolades. I had the pleasure of becoming one of his friends, and these are 3 stories and secrets of what it was like behind the mask for Jon Absey. If nothing else, make sure you listen to the 3rd story because it nearly brought me to tears the first time I heard it. Thank you for everything, Jon, and you and your bear will be missed. What does it take to become a pro mascot?
Wow, that is the question right there. Honestly, I think it just takes somebody who's willing to sweat their ass off, take abuse, injuries, a lot of hours. I don't know, sometimes not feeling appreciated. Honestly, it just takes somebody who just loves to entertain. Like my whole goal was going out and entertaining, and the way I did it is I tried to attach myself to the team so I could feel like the 6th man. Because if you're just out there and you don't feel part of the team, then you don't really want to go bust your ass for anything. But I really felt 100% that I was helping the team. I was helping the fans. I was connecting with the fans. But I mean, it really does. It takes a certain type of person to be able to go out night after night, put this suit on, and entertain. And honestly, I couldn't tell you the exact characteristics because in my time, in 25 years, I have met mascots that are just like, you look at them and you're like, you're more crazy out of suit than in suit. And I've met guys that are total introverts out of suit, but the second they put the suit on, they're wild and crazy. So, I mean, I don't really think that there's a certain type of person. I think what it really comes down to is you need somebody that really enjoys entertaining and really enjoys being treated like crap.
What was it like developing the bear's character?
It was actually kind of amazing. Over those 25 years, when I first started out, the hard things I had guys ask, because my program was very unique when it came to any of the mascots in any of the leagues because, like when I started out, I had to fight for charity work, and then I ended up doing about 99% of my appearances turned into charity work. A lot of guys had to submit their skits and all this other stuff, and I had to do that up front. But what happened is the team, and I have to give 100% credit to Grant Harrison, my manager at the time. He all of a sudden went, you know what? I trust you now. You're the mascot. Run with it. And that's just not really what happens in any of the leagues anymore, really, or even back then sometimes. And so what had happened is they started trusting me, and I could literally show up at the game, and I mean, nobody would even really ask me. I just walk over and say, hey, make sure you play this music. I talked to Ron Court guy, and we just did it. And I was really thankful for that because they trusted me with what I was doing out there. And then with later in my career, I actually ran the 4th quarter entertainment, or the whole 4th quarter, basically. During those timeouts, I was able to call hot, cold, all that stuff, and either throw myself in or say that I'm taking a break and send somebody else. But they trusted me enough because of my feel for the crowd. And I honestly think that a lot of teams are missing out, not letting their mascots be more interactive during the game and having more say. Because we are in the crowd, we're feeling it. We are right next to the fans, and we can say, you know what, it's really dead out there, and I don't want to wreck my character just because you want me to go out there and try and get the crowd excited. I know they're not going to get excited. So if you send me out there with signs and I'm out there like, come on, get excited, it's just going to discredit me. You know what I mean? So I really believe, all the mascots, we have such a vested interest in our characters. I mean, they're our babies. We don't want to go out there and wreck the credibility. And, a lot of times, those game ops directors in any league and in any sport, they're not looking out for us. They're just like rolling the dice that if, just do this, but they're not feeling the game like we are.
When have you broken character? fair warning, one of my favorite mascot stories ever.
Yeah, I got asked to go out and visit a child a long time ago, a number of years ago, and I didn't really know what it was for or what it was about, but I just remember hopping out of the van, walking up to the door. I had my confetti cannons and silly string ready, and we knocked on the door. They opened the door, and it was one of those just punchy in the face moments where when I walked in, I was like, "There's something going on here," because nobody's happy. And when I looked at the parents, they were looking at me like, do something, try and fix this. And then when I realized that their 10-year-old son was laying on a cot out in the living room, and then the mom came over and talked to me and explained that he's dying and that he could die at any moment. And the reality hit me, and I was like, it's hard to explain. And Tana can back this is when you go in thinking, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to pop cannons. It's going to be fun. I'm going to do autographs. And you have that just hard reality that this 10-year-old boy is dying, and they asked for the character to show up. It really it overwhelmed me. And I remember, going over and sitting down, and I was at one of those moments where I was like, I don't care about the character. I don't care about anything. I just want to make this child, enjoy the time that I'm here to talk with them. And we talked, and I talked to the parents, and and it was just hard. I mean, it was just hard. And when I left, I just remember sitting in the back of the van crying the whole time. And then I remember I ended up going with my daughter's soccer game, and my middle daughter, Sydney. And I just remember all the parents yelling and screaming at their kids to do better and yelling at the coach and doing this and that. And the only thing I could think about was how grateful I was that my daughter was healthy and out on that damn soccer field playing instead of sitting on a cot waiting to die. And and I hate to say this, but I just blew up at the parents, and I started screaming to shut up and blah, blah, blah. And I just left this, kid that's dying, and nobody said a word for the rest of the game. But I got a call about 4 hours after the game and found out that he died. And it's those things and those moments. God, I don't know how to explain it. It's those moments that you just hate because they draw so much of your emotion, and they make you so sad, and you end up doing so many of them that sometimes you have to kind of put up a wall. Otherwise, it will kill you, for as many times as you've gone into the hospital and you see these children that are dying, and you're constantly sad that way because you're always seeing kids that have disabilities or kids that are, passing. But then again, you look at it and you just go, you know what? I'm really grateful that I was able to go in and give this child a moment that he wasn't thinking about, the fact that he was going to die. He was able to talk to me, and you took his mind off of the reality for him. Mm-hmm. So it's a really hard balance, if that makes any sense, because it took me a number of years where I started just almost like it was draining my energy and my soul, and the fact that I'd see these kids and I'd want to give so much, and then I'd leave and I'd be bawling, and there came a point where you kind of you go in and you have to kind of train yourself to just be there for the moment. And when you walk away, you think about it, but it won't go home with you all the time, because it was going home with me every day. And then I started getting grumpy, and I was getting angry because it's not fair. In my head, I'm just like, why the hell are these children, they didn't do anything. How come they're passing so soon? And I would just get so angry. And I eventually had to kind of figure out a way to hold it back.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And check out my other videos where I have TikTok compilations or how to be a mascot, which I call Buzz Academy. And then I have my own TikTok and Instagram where I can be seen being eaten by a T-Rex. I also love fan art, so feel free to tag me in that, and you may be featured in one of my videos. See ya!